benefits of studying music at Trinity Laban are many and various. One of the interesting things is that we don't have a set pattern that we expect a student to undergo. We have a set program, but we're looking for students to be themselves. We're looking for a student to develop their own skills in their own way so that they don't come out as being a typical Trinity Laban student, but come out as being their own person.
Having my instrumental lessons with these performers and professionals who are at the top of their game, my technique has improved tenfold.
They're trying to facilitate your career.
Trinity Laban prepares students for today's music and dance industry, which I think is very important.
Going to Trinity Laban has given me that opportunity to meet different people I never thought I would ever meet.
It's amazing being in such an iconic setting, which means it's a really sort of bustling environment and you feel inspired.
Trinity Laban feels like my second home.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our second masterclass in the Artsong Festival 2021. We had an absolutely fantastic opening masterclass on Tuesday, and I would just like to thank Jennifer Hamilton for such thoughtful insight and such energy, and all of our participants from Tuesday as well for really giving it their all. You will be able to hear all of them again in our final concert at the end of the masterclass at the Artsong Festival on next Saturday on the 17th. Tonight I'm particularly excited because our guest specialist as somebody who is synonymous with Western classical music and music education across India, and somebody who has been a close friend of KM Music Conservatory for many years. I've had great pleasure listening to him perform and work with our students when he's been visiting. So I'm really looking forward to see how he interacts with our singers, particularly because he's a pianist, and it may be slightly unusual for some people to think of having a pianist working with singers, but as any pianist will tell you, it's a very useful thing for singers to learn from a pianist's perspective, as well as getting that different insight of an expert musician. So to introduce our judge and all of our performers, I would like to hand over to our festival director, Nina Kanter. Nina, over to you.
Thank you, Adam. Welcome, everybody. Good evening if you're in India, good afternoon if you're in the UK. Welcome wherever you are. We're delighted to welcome you to our second event of the Artsong Festival 2021. This is our second vocal masterclass. And today we have 4 singers who have been selected, and they are Asta Mahapatra, Himanshu Bharat, Payal John, and Lili Mandata. And we're really looking forward to hearing them all sing today. And I'm delighted to be able to introduce to you Karl Lutchmayer. Karl, forgive me if I look at my notes, but you have such a varied and impressive introduction. I'm going to check. So Karl is an international concert pianist, a Steinway artist, and a music educator. And as a pianist, he's worked with conductors such as Lauren Mazel and Sir Andrew Davis. He's broadcast on BBC and on Classic FM, and he's given over 90 world premieres of new works. As a music educator, he was an academic lecturer at Trinity Laban for 15 years in London, and he's been a guest lecturer at Juilliard and Manhattan schools in New York. In India, he received the Pride of India Lifetime Achievement Award in 2015 for his education work, and he recently created a pre-college music program with Musée Musical in Chennai, and he's currently researching for his PhD in Cambridge, so he is a busy man. And Karl, we're so happy to welcome you today. So welcome, Karl.
Thanks so much, Nina. Thanks, Adam. Lovely to see you all, and what a joy to be here. It occurs to me that this event last year was one of the first things that was cancelled in my diary. So I'm really thrilled that we've actually managed to put it back, because it's also the first event that's been reorganized since the pandemic. So I'm really pleased, absolutely pleased to be here and to be working with you. As Adam said, of course, I'm a pianist, so I do bring a very different approach. But of course, remember, it is usually your pianist who is sort of shouting, "No, it's a crotchet," at you as you try and sing a quaver across the top. And also, of course, it means that we have a very different perspective of the much rounder sense of music rather than the actual vocal production. I won't be helping you with vocal production today. That's not my job at all. But I'm here to think about music and about how one projects the ideas in music to the people at large. One final thing I always forget is to add to my biography, of course. In spite of my very crazy name, which is incredibly Germanic, Karl Josef Lutchmayer, I'm Goan. 3 of my grandparents are Goan, and the other one is from Bombay. You can find out about the name another day anyway. So lovely to see you all, and let's make a start, please.
Thank you, Karl. So we are going to start with our first participant, who is Asta Mahapatra, a soprano from India, and we're going to watch Asta's introductory video now and find out a little bit more about her.
Hello, my name is Asta Mahapatra and I am a soprano based in New Delhi. I am 19 years old and currently I am a student at the Lady Shri Ram College for Women. I have been studying Western classical music for the past 4 years under the tutelage of my vocal coach, Ms. Sito Singh Beulah, and have been a member of the Lyric Ensemble of Delhi. Having been a performer for most of my life, I truly believe in the power of the arts and love to tell stories with the help of my voice and to reach out to people with the power of music. To name a few of my achievements so far, I was one of the top 10 finalists at the Voices of India competition held at the National Centre for Performing Arts in Bombay back in 2018. I also played the lead role of Amal in the opera Amal and the Night Visitors, a Christmas special held at the Sri Ram Centre for Performing Arts in New Delhi. I am so honored and so excited to be a part of this music festival and wish it all the success.
Thank you, Asta. I think it's time for you to sing now, so I'll hand over to you and to Karl.
Hello.
Hi, Asta. Please, let's hear you. Thank you.
All right. So I'll be singing Chanson d'amour by Gabriel Fauré. Just a second. J'aime tes yeux, j'aime ton front, oh ma rebelle, oh ma farouche. J'aime tes yeux, j'aime ta bouche, oh mes baisers s'épuiseront. J'aime ta voix, j'aime l'étrange grâce de tout ce que tu dis. Oh ma rebelle, oh mon cher ange, mon enfant et ma paradis. J'aime tes yeux, j'aime ton front, oh ma rebelle, oh ma farouche. J'aime tes yeux, j'aime ta bouche, oh mes baisers s'épuiseront. J'aime tout ce qui te fait belle, de tes pieds jusqu'à tes cheveux. Oh toi vers qui monte mes voeux, oh ma farouche, oh ma rebelle. J'aime tes yeux, j'aime ton front, oh ma rebelle, ma farouche. J'aime tes yeux, j'aime ta bouche, oh mes baisers s'épuiseront, oh mes baisers s'épuiseront.
Bravo. Thank you so much. Thank you. And please, I mean, all of you, I understand it's almost impossible to sing alongside a backing track that isn't the live pianist, because how can you engage with each other? But I obviously, we understand that. So obviously we'll take that into account. So the first thing is, obviously, right through the song, we have the word je, so it is about the person singing. Why are you, as in your character, why are you singing the song? What is it about for the person singing?
So I think the poet kept this in mind, that he was trying to write about his love for this particular person. It's basically affirmations of his love, and basically a singer would try to interpret that and to take that into account, and basically it's description of the person that he loves.
Absolutely true, but let's be honest. Love songs are about 60% of the output of poets and indeed of songs. What about this one? Why is this one particular, special, different? What about it? What's key for you?
I feel like this sort of connects, it's more soulful, I feel like, because when it is accompanied with the piano, I feel like the pianist and the singer, they try to maintain a good sort of a relationship. And that kind of relationship, that the rhythm that the song has, the dynamics that the song has, they're basically describing that urge, and and make the poem entirely more beautiful and more descriptive in nature.
Okay, but it's really interesting that we will get to the singing in a moment, I promise. But it's really interesting that you've talked about the dynamics. So what are the dynamics in the first page?
All right. So in the first page, we begin with dolce, as in it starts off very in a very mellow manner, and then j'aime ton front, and then there's a crescendo there. So j'aime ton front, and then
I mean, it's only a hairpins, isn't it? It's not actually written crescendo, so you have to do something. But I think the thing I was pointing out is we start piano, and the third line is pianissimo. So, in fact, when you say that there's an urgency about this, I'm going to question you about that. It's not that you're wrong or I'm right, but I'm looking at this thing and going, it's piano, it's dolce, then it's pianissimo. And I wonder, rather than urgent, whether it's just more wistful, somehow a little more distant. And there are so many occasions where there's something very small. Maybe that small is an intimacy about it. And you'll notice the piano part, it couldn't be more simple, could it? It's just da 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 da. It's not doing anything very active. And I'm just wondering, firstly, and let's just try that opening, maybe even without the piano, because obviously the piano's at one level for you on your recording. Can we just try that? And I want you to find something that's much more intimate. Maybe it's full of wonder, maybe it's a little hesitant, maybe it's a bit awestruck, but I don't think it's quite this. I think it's that. Do you want to try? Do you want to note? I think you could even have got, depending on how sensitive your pianist is, of course, you could have got even softer on that pianissimo. So that's the first thing. Now, it's marked andantino. That's a very amorphous, ambivalent kind of, marking, and who knows what that really means. It's problematic in many ways, from Mozart onwards. But what it's saying is, it's not too slow, it's not too steady, it's not an andante, but I can't help but feel that at the tempo you're taking it at the moment, you're having to rush yourself sometimes. And you're not, again, if you had a pianist just following you, that's a different matter. But I think you can enjoy taking some time in some of the phrases, just even in this first line, first page. And it seems to me that you've kind of got a rhythm going, da, 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 da. And it's just getting a bit too energetic. Almost, I'm going to say, and I will say this carefully, but try not to make it so rhythmical. Allow it to just gently melt in the same spirit of wonderment, if you like. Do you want to just try that? something like that. And then by all means, take some time when you get up to... I promise you, at least if I'm your pianist, I will follow you, okay?
All right.
Really soft. Wonderful. And you see, at that point, in the second crescendo, up to the F natural this time, which we're not expecting. We're expecting, of course, the F sharp. We get to that F natural. What's it? Oh mes baisers, oh my kisses, and you suddenly have something much more magical. And you did that beautifully. So if you can come down more at the pianissimo, you can expand later at the baiser. One thing I will say, and I don't know how much it is about the the zoom and what's picking up. When I'm hearing a je, I'm hearing a sh rather than a je sound. And you need to be very careful about that because obviously every line begins with je or je. And I'm hearing she. Can you just give me the very opening? Oh, the opening 2 bars. And make sure it's a je, not a sh.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, the second one went sh on me. And sorry, it should be je, not je. Of course, it is I have rather than I am. Je. And the second one again. Okay, one more time. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Work on that. Just record yourself and listen. It's getting a little too emphatic, but that's the idea. Okay, let me. Ooh, I've lost my score. Give me one moment. Oh, here it is. So let's just go on. I'm sorry, I'm assuming your second page is the same as mine. So this is the D going to the E flat. Now we've gone from the pianissimo to the piano again, and we're quite up in the register, aren't we? What can we do to make? I think this bit may be a little less one full of awe or wonder, and it's a little more realistic. What can we do to really characterize that, and particularly this thing that goes from here? It's very kind of oriental, isn't it? It's very, I mean, sultry. That's the word I'm looking for. Sorry, not oriental. Okay, can we get something of that sultry nature, something almost exotic? Yeah, do you want to just try from there? Not bad. And it's particularly interesting that he uses the word étrange, strange, at. So really, I think you could have enjoyed that more. Imagine it as the roller coaster, or whatever it is. It gradually moves forward and comes back. One more time. Not bad, not bad. And again, don't feel, I mean, obviously you have to get your mouth around the words. I understand that. But don't feel, again, that you're being rushed. I suspect one of the difficulties, particularly of practicing with a recorded track, is you're fitting to the pianist. And that's not your job. It's obviously you want to try and get something that's flexible enough that you can wait a moment. But great, great. Okay, so now, second place, we are now poco a poco crescendo, and this is the time to show us up to MF something very, very different. But then, even then, why do we, after 4 bars, after paradis, paradise, we come back down to piano. Now, you're the singer here. You're leading me through this. Why do we have to come back to piano? What's the new mood at that moment for you?
I feel like I spoke about urgency a little bit before. So, and when you said it's a little bit, wistful, the beginning is a little bit, dreamy, in the sense of a word. I feel like the second part is urgency. Of course, like that is reflected when the singer does a lot of takes a lot of liberty, creative liberty, and interprets it in her own ways. And in this part, I feel like that just sort of comes to a resolution or a conclusion, because again, the key is also resolving in a way, and then from as you said, Oriental, like it's kind of very nuanced, that entire part, and then it comes to the normal. It sort of normalizes, comes to a conclusion, is what I want to say.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I think also you should note, and I always berate my singers for not always noticing. Look at the harmonies at this point, and we have such interesting places to go. We're in G major for the, but we get to this, and then we end up in B flat major out of almost nowhere. And it's a kind of, I think this is an ecstatic moment. So let's just, and as I say, really unfold at that moment, really a release, and give us, and particularly that paradis, which is such a long note for this piece. I mean, we don't have such long notes generally. Let's really have that. So shall we take from O ma rebelle? Can you, that on the F natural was quite tight. Can you allow it to be a little more open? And also there was one other thing. Ah yes, on the onge, don't swallow the je. Onge. Your je was barely there. One more time from there, please.
Oh ma belle, mon cher ange, mon enfant me paradis.
Good. Let me ask you, of mon enfer et mon paradis, what's the note you're aiming for? What's the most important syllable in there?
Is it A? And
well, you tell me. What are you trying to tell me?
When you say syllable, do you mean the note or the word?
Yeah, the note. Yeah, which note? Which particularly attached to which word? I doubt it's going to be the F natural in that sense, because it's just an and, isn't it?
Yeah. So I feel like it's is it E flat? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, you see, I mean, again, it could be, if it's the E flat, it's my, which, usually when we sing a love song, if we're a decent person, we're not usually talking about us, we're talking about the other person. What I would point out to you, and let's think about how Fauré sets this melody. The melody, for those of you who don't have a copy, is... and the only long note, apart from the last note, is on the D, which is the fair of enfer. Enfer meaning hell. My hell and my paradise. And it seems to me that he's put that long note enfer to go, my hell, and then, and my paradise. Okay? So I think, for me, there's no right answer, I think, but for me, all the clues are saying that D tells me I'm in hell, and I'm in paradise. Can you give that to me? Go back to the beginning of this phrase. So the... Good, and I really got a sense that the paradise was paradisic, and the hell was, hellish in some way. So that's absolutely what we should find. Now, let's go on. So we've got the same words, but what's happening this time? Can we now? This is taken us somewhere onwards. Let's just go from there, if you don't mind. And remember, we are still in piano. Don't make anything too big. We've had an MF crescendo. Don't make anything too big at this point. that's absolutely coming. So those are the key pointers I'd say here. Make sure that things are intimate. Make sure you really know which word in a phrase you're aiming for, so that you can tell the story. Sometimes I feel you're singing the music, but not always telling us the actual story of what's going on. Let me ask you a key question. What does farouche mean?
Farouche, loved one, beloved.
Not really. Farouche is much more complex than that. So you're always saying you're a rebel of some kind, a rebelle. And farouche is someone kind of beyond rebellious, kind of devil may care or something. Oh, have I lost you?
Is it fiery, like some farouche, fire? Oh, all right, sorry. So I was saying, does farouche sort of mean fiery in sense of the word?
Yes, sort of, but it's a bit more decadent than that. It's, basically it's clearly someone who can't be tamed. And so it's worth remembering that I think the voice of the person singing is kind of a bit innocent, wistful, whatever. And you're going, oh, but you're so rebellious. Oh, you're untamable, etc. Oh, but your eyes are really lovely. It's that kind of wonderment that anything you can do to bring that to the musical table, as it were, that would be great. Now, I would like to hear the golly, where has it got to? The passage. I haven't got bar numbers. Annoyingly, it's j'aime tout ce qui fait belle.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just give you that one.
J'aime tout ce qui te fait belle, de tes pieds jusqu'à tes cheveux. Oh, toi, vers qui moi t'aimerais, oh, ma farouche, oh, ma rebelle.
Good. Okay. So now we've got a very different mood for this melody at this point. Up till here, it's kind of been distant. It's been over there, and suddenly we get something very much prettier. We're and then there's something warmer about this. What are you telling us at this point in the narrative?
So it just says that I love everything about you. J'aime tout ce qui te fait belle, de tes pieds. So from your foot jusqu'à tes cheveux, to your hair. Oh, toi, vers qui monte mes voeux. You who monte.
Yeah, mounting in my yeah, absolutely. No, listen, great, well done. So all of those things are a slightly different mood than the thing we've had before. Suddenly, rather than being wistful and going, oh, you're over there, you're too great for me, suddenly you go, oh my goodness, yes, this is how I feel. And this is, what you are, rather than I think up to this point, it's always been, oh, it's over there. So can we get a sense, again, please don't rush, but that sense of, I think we need more warmth at this point. Up until now, we've had a slightly distant, small, narrow sound. I think at this point you can be warmer. Just warm it up. Let me just give you your note again. Here we go.
J'aime tout ce qui te fait belle, de tes pieds jusqu'à tes cheveux. Oh, toi, vers qui moi t'aimerais, oh, ma farouche, oh, ma rebelle.
Good. And it seems to me, this is personal, you can disagree with it, it seems to me at this point that the singer's come to terms with rebelliousness, farouche, all of these things. Go, oh, okay, yeah, I like that, rather than, oh, it's a bit spooky and it's a bit scary. That's my view. Somehow you have to take us on that story through your view, and it's going to obviously be different from mine. I'm just looking at the time, and we're probably going to have to stop around there, but ask me any questions at this point. I'm sure we've got a couple of minutes that we can do questions.
All right. So for me, at least, I thought of this piece as tension and release, because as you said, there's a lot of key signature things happening, a lot of interesting things happening. And so I always felt that maybe it's becoming more and more intimate and coming to a resolution as the, song passes by, and in the end it's like, okay, I've come to a conclusion. So I think of it this way. Would you agree?
That's fine. Remember, that particularly particularly in the music of Fauré, but a great deal in chanson more broadly, we have this idea of nuance. Always about the amount of color, and the really great singers of chanson are always just balancing how much color, how can I just very subtly show you I'm a bit more or I'm a bit less, deft touches, and likewise, as you've noticed, Fauré does some really surprising but actually very elegant harmonic things with the melody and the harmony. And remember, you're there partly to tell us the story, but partly to reflect these turns in the music, just as I've shown you. Well, where's the important note here, or can you see how this F natural goes to this F sharp, and so on. That's part of your job, to bring out, to essentially find the magic and then go, right, here you go, this is the magic. Always remember, all of you in fact, as artists, as musicians, you're not there just to tell everybody what's on the score. You're there to take what's on the score and turn it into the magic. The score is just the script. Your job is to create the movie. And that's where the magic happens. So, but bravo! It's really, really lovely to hear you, and well done. Good luck in your preparation for next week. I look forward to hearing you.
Thank you so much, Karl.
My very great pleasure. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Asta. Congratulations. Beautiful singing. And thank you so much, Karl. So we are going to move on to our next singer now, who is Himanshu Bharat, who is a tenor from India, known to us at KM in Chennai. So we're going to see Himanshu's video now and find out a little bit more about him before he sings.
Hello everyone, this is Himanshu Bharat from Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India. I'm a singer, songwriter, composer, recording artist and a voiceover artist. I did my bachelor's degree in Indian classical music from JG College of Performing Arts, Ahmedabad, and right now I'm learning Western classical music at KM Conservatory, Chennai. Recently I did a playback in an urban Gujarati movie, and I've won several competitions like Gujarat's Jalsa event, Gujarat Talent Hunt and Inception as well. I like to sing in different languages, and my goal is to become a successful performing artist in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll hand over to Himanshu and to Karl.
Hi, Himanshu. Welcome. Where are you? Where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India.
Ah, of course I know Ahmedabad. Nice to meet you. Well, welcome to Oxford. How fabulous that we can do this across 4,500 miles. Brilliant. Okay, so what do you want to sing today?
I'm gonna sing EC Bars by Gabriel Fauré.
Okay, some more Fauré. So I hope you heard lots of things about issues of nuance and so on. So we'll absolutely talk about, of course, very different song of this one. So okay, let's hear it. Thank you.
Sure.
Si bois tous les lilas tous les jours des oiseaux au cou. Je rêve aux étés qui demeurent toujours. Ici bas les lèvres effleurent sur les îles de leur velours. Je rêve au baiser qui demeure toujours. Ici bas tous les hommes pleurent leurs amitiés ou leurs amours. Je rêve au couple qui demeure
Great, thank you. Well done, well done, well done. I'm getting a bit of internet Zoom dropout, so we'll do what we can. I couldn't hear entirely clearly, but I got a lot of it. Firstly, tell me. So I'm always going to ask the singers this. Those of you who are not up yet, prepare for this question, obviously. What are you telling me by singing this song, or what are you telling the listener?
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm still working on the piece, but as far as my interpretation, the piece is about a person who is talking to her beloved. That's all, and he's kind of it's like a comparison and reality thing. I mean, in the first line, "Isi bas tore lam," I mean, he or she is comparing everything with nature, with the natural things and everything. That's what, and basically, she's kind of missing her beloved. That's all.
Yeah, okay, and again, that's quite a generic answer, because obviously all love songs ever, well, apart from the occasional happy one, are all about we're missing someone or something. But there's something very, very particularly interesting. Now, so what does isiba mean?
Isiba means here below, here below.
Right. Yeah, here below, absolutely. And every verse is here below. There's this thing which isn't happening, and oh, you know, you're not experiencing this. You're somewhere else. Where is below, do you think? For you, I don't think there's a full answer. I mean, just, you know, the way you're telling the story.
Okay, how to explain? Okay, so for me, it's like how to say, comparing a situation, my own situation. If I take my own example, right? So if I'm having a memory or something which I kind of connect with this thing, so it's like I'm comparing I'm comparing my situation to what I'm missing. I
Fine.
hope you get it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, you know, some people say, you know, isiba here down below. This is like, oh, I'm so much lower and you're up there. Other people say I'm in my personal hell or darkness and I can't escape, and this is where I am, but you know, not there. So you know, it can mean many things. But I understand, you know, where you're coming from. So we need, and of course, Fauré needs to capture this. Again, what's very interesting is the pianist or the piano part starts with this great arpeggio going up and down, setting the scene, but almost kind of opening up, freeing the music. And then the first bit kind of narrows the music.
Exactly.
It keeps it very uptight, which is, well, you know, obviously what it needs to do, and it keeps it within quite a small textura. Okay, so let me hear you again, simply because I couldn't hear everything. I just want to hear the first phrase from you. Okay, so yeah.
Isiba tu le lila mer, tu le jodes
Great. That's also much clearer now, so I can actually hear you. Brilliant. That sounded great. Again, I'm going to ask you. So we've got two phrases here, haven't we? We've got a comma between. Where are you aiming for? What's the word or the note that you're kind of say? This is what I'm telling you.
Okay, I didn't understand. Sorry, pardon. Can you just
sorry,
repeat
beg your pardon. So, we've got two phrases, yes?
Yeah. Cool.
And so, for instance, what's the most important moment?
Okay. So as I said, if it's concerned to me, I mean, my own interpretation. So the thing is, as I told you, that I'm comparing it. I'm kind of comparing it with my memories. Okay, so the first part, the first part is kind of they're explaining everything. Yeah, this happened. This I mean, what exactly the past and everything. Yeah.
I meant literally in that first line, which is the most important word, or two words.
Yeah. So I guess isiba, the starting portion and the ending word. Yeah.
Okay, now you see what, of course, what the story is telling us is here down below, all the lilies die, and all the bird song are short, aren't they? Or yeah, short. So and there's a really interesting crescendo going up to oiseau, and you think, it seems to me, again, this is always interpretation. It seems to me that he's using the poet is using the words lilies and oiseau to give you the normal, oh, this is going to be a love song, there are beautiful lilies and there are birds in the trees, but the lilies are dying or wilting, I think is the better translation, and the oiseau song, the bird song, is short. So it seems to me we need to really get a sense of meurant and court, and almost as if you're cheating me. You're going, oh, there are lilies, oh, they're dying. Oh, there are birds, oh, their songs aren't good enough. Okay, so can you give me a sense? Just give me that again. Don't overdo it, of course, but I want to understand that. And he does this very carefully. So he does, when we go to the lilies, all the lilies, but then meurant, and then we get the oiseau. Oh, they're court. They're not long songs, they're short songs. Okay, give me that.
Can you just give me the key?
Oh, sorry, yes, of course, my bad. I loved your boiseau. The oiseau and the sans court, very, very good. Watch out on the meurant, because I'm not hearing the second syllable. I know it's only a semiquaver syllable, but I'm not hearing a separate r. Just watch out for that. Okay, but good, well done. That was great. Now give us this very different place, which is a better place. Let's hear that. Okay, so we're dreaming of basically a completely different space. I think that worked. I notice in the score there's a reminder piano. There's a little P just to remind you that it's still piano. Okay, I think certainly the first time through, and it may, to be fair, be your recorded pianist who's kind of brought it up a bit too much. Remember, and I don't, it's too easy to say, oh, forêt, sing it soft, sing it all, quiet. That's rubbish. Lots of very strong moments in forêt, and there are lots of very intimate moments. But it seems to me that he's always very clear to show you what the intimate bits are by reminding you. There's a P in the last piece, reminding you it's a pianissimo. Okay, so try and keep it within that world. So let me just have that again. Sorry. What's it? Yes. That's lovely. I will give you one piece of advice, which I can't give you very well because I'm not a singer. But that time, be careful that your piano isn't just about being putting less air through, because you became too breathy at that point. You still need a clear sound. Remember, piano, you still have to make a piano. You don't say piano is now. I don't sing at that point. I just do less. You actually probably have to do more to get that very focused piano sound. Now, as I say, forgive me, I'm not a singer, but just show me if you can get a really focused rather than an absent piano sound. Good. And now, to be fair, with a piano with you, you may need it a little higher than that, because your pianist still has to play. But don't allow anything too strong. Okay, just watch out for that. Yes. Okay, let's take that. So the next phrase, something else is low and something else is high. Take it away. I'll give you the okay. Okay, so this time the kisses don't give velvet. I guess basically you don't actually touch lips or whatever that is. Not bad, but I think it seems to me we've got after the first verse we we know what this song's about. So I think even at this time, and he does put that big crescendo decrescendo over the top, and we've got this high long E. I think you can allow a little more time, and remember, when you've got that E up there, your pianist has got, which is so wonderful, and it's telling you, oh, this is bad too, okay? So, obviously you can't do anything about the D sharp. I might put it in this time just to give you that sense. Do that, and really give me that sense of both wonder and horror, I guess, okay? Sorry.
Ici bas le lèvres effleurent, souriant de l'herbe.
Nice. And for those of you, that D sharp coming in there is like, it won't come in that loudly, obviously, but just to give you the sense of what is Fauré doing there. It's really amazing music. Okay, good. And essentially the next passage is largely the same. Okay, now I'd like you to go to leur imité un leur amour, because this is a very different feel, isn't it? Have you got that? It's on the top of the second page, third page, top of the second page.
Second page.
Beg your pardon. Top of the third page.
Third.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Very, very different feel now, and you've got to articulate this somehow. How are we going to make that feel very, very dramatic, but in a Fauré-like way? Not in a. We're hearing some Strauss later, which is kind of a completely different business. So why don't you go from the 2 bars before that? So this is. And this is interesting because on this occasion the A is sharp, isn't it?
Exactly,
and we've got a very different sound at this point. And the piano part, have you noticed that the piano part at this point is very different? There are some semiquavers, but it's chunky rather than flowing. So we need to get a sense of that. So can you give me the sharpened one?
Ici bas tous les hommes pleurent.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to do that again. I could not work out who is crying. I know who's crying. You need to tell us it's the men who are crying, okay? Very, very interesting. All the men are crying. It's a natural state.
Ici bas tous les hommes pleurent.
I know, I get that the rhythm is semiquavers. You've got to get up there, but you're swallowing tous les hommes. Tous les hommes.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, one more time.
Ici bas tous les hommes pleurent. Should I continue? Yeah.
Yeah.
Leurs amitiés ou leurs amours.
I think you didn't do badly, actually. That was not bad. What we're looking for. So again, with this song, we've created a certain sound world at the beginning, which is a little low, a little focused, not too breathy. I think now we need something that's a bit more
breathy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Even and indeed, remember, we're now MF, okay? So I think you've got more to give there. I think you're being a little reticent. Give me MF, blow the speakers out on my computer.
Ici bas tous les hommes. Sorry. Ici bas tous les hommes pleurent, leurs amitiés ou leurs amours. Je rêve au couple qui demeure.
Okay, now, you've got the idea for this one, absolutely. But I think that the crescendo comes right on rêve, doesn't it? You start... Je rêve, isn't it? It's up on the D. And the crescendo starts there. And really go right through to the F sharp, okay? And this is kind of the kind of really powerful cry or something it is, isn't it?
Exactly.
And I kind of felt that you were trying to hold yourself in. This is your moment to get it all out of your system.
Sure. Okay.
Go from.
Je rêve au couple qui demeure.
Okay, not bad, not bad. Again, I think couple. It's knee, isn't it? Yes. Just give me some. Really aim for the couple, and then of course you go to Meuron. Okay. And now one thing, just be really clear in your head. Okay. I think you were a bit nervous about that. You have to jump, okay? Don't worry about it. If it's wrong, well, that's bad, but don't make it wrong, okay? So I'm sorry.
Je rêve au couple qui demeure. Vos couples qui demeure.
Okay, now this was not bad, but remember, it's Meuron, isn't it? Don't die. We got. I would say that C sharp is where you're really aiming for.
Exactly, it's connected, yeah.
Okay. And particularly because we've had the sixth and then. That's the real death, isn't it? Okay. Really make that for me, if you will, please. Why not go through the whole so yeah.
So I'll try to connect everything and I'll try to edit that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, breathe. Just try and get that journey through. And particularly, as I say, I know you've got the high F sharp, but I think that shouldn't. Of course, you're coming down. We understand that. But don't make it weak because it's not the end yet. The C sharp after da is where it's aiming for. It's only after that it kind of dies.
Yeah. Okay. Je rêve au couple qui demeure. Vos couples qui demeure.
Good. And exactly. And remember, you're still a piano. Don't go to pianissimo. Don't die. I suspect your rond on A was not quite long enough. Remember, you've got to hold it right through the bar to the end. That one. You were a bit short on it. I'll just tell you that, but don't worry about it now. But you were just a bit short on it. I think it needed a bit longer. And then, okay, so let's take this final phrase. Now, he does mark it piano, but remember that the pianist is a pianissimo. Frankly, if I were you, I'd be tempted to get really quite close, particularly in the last moments when we've already heard the what's happening here, to kind of get quite close to that pianissimo level. You don't have to, but I mean, we still need to hear you. But by that point, there's something really other happening. Okay, in fact, why don't you go from, if you don't mind, and really that E sharp. We've had all of this. We've my goodness, what does that mean? You know, what are we telling us by that E sharp? Is it happy? Is it resigned? Are we okay? We've got to live like this. Oh no, we don't have to live like this. I don't know. You must tell me through your voice, which is the hardest thing to do.
Exactly. I'm going to give you a 5-minute warning now.
Thank you, Nina.
All right.
All yours.
So the thing is, when I look into that thing, one thing that strikes my head is kind of, it's sad actually. It's that missing feeling, right? I mean, if you see the literal meaning of the song, right, of that line, it's kind of, I dream of couples who remain forever, and the line before that was, here below all the men weep and everything. So that's what. So it's like she or he is missing her beloved, and that's what. So she's kind of literally showing that feeling while singing that. So I guess, yeah. So the
all in one E sharp, okay? That's really important. So, okay, I think absolutely. And sorry, I would say to all of you, this is the 21st century. It doesn't matter which gender it was written in originally. If you're a man or you're a woman singing whatever which way around you like, it doesn't matter, guys. You know, just make it about what you're doing. because this isn't a narrative song. Sometimes we are narrating, obviously, but this is how I feel. So don't feel bothered about which gender it was first written in. That's a long time ago. Okay, those people are dead. So sorry, I've lost my. Yes, go. If you go from.
Okay, sure. Wo kupla kidam.
Okay, so you're gonna have to. Where are you taking your breath there?
I'm taking at two places actually. After that, and after that.
Okay, that's a shame, but I can see why. Because otherwise, we don't get that nice join from the E sharp to the F sharp. That's almost a portamento. But
yeah,
fine.
I can do that. Yeah, I can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Also, remember when you come down from the top note down. Of course, I understand that you're giving us a phrase that the lighter note is in the bottom, but don't take the core of the note out of it. Your note loses quality because it's not present, because you're trying to get away from it. Remember, you have to sing piano. You have to sing piano somewhere. You don't not sing piano. Okay? One last time, and then we'll have to end and try and get some core to that note at the bottom. Sorry.
Wo kupla kidam.
Great, well done, well done. Of course, Zoom. I'm not. Please make sure that you can be heard slightly above the pianist. I think you are probably too little there, but you can work that one out. Any quick questions before we have to end, Himanshu?
The thing is, I always had this question for this piece. Actually, I don't the interpretation which this piece gives, right? I mean, it's in contrasting with the composing. I mean, I always feel that.
How do you mean?
The thing is, okay. So the thing is, it's about as I told you earlier, it's about comparison and reality, right? So the thing is, when it is comparing the first phrase with the second phrase, right? I feel like it doesn't go with my interpretation. That's what. I don't see it as a proper thing.
Okay. Well, now this is. I mean, we can't talk about a great deal here, but we can take a couple of minutes, I'm sure. It is worth remembering that there are always going to be certain dissonances. We live in the 21st century. If we're singing songs for a century ago, the culture is different. Like I just told you. How we feel about the composing a century ago is different, and it's okay to make the decision that actually I don't want to do it as if though I'm pretending to be Fauré. I want to do it as if though I'm doing it now and honestly. But however, what I will say to you is the flip side of that is if you enter the Gabriel Fauré singing competition and they say, we're expecting you to sing like Fauré, then obviously that goes wrong. But there's this balance. I think ultimately the word comes to authenticity. Are you being authentic? And you have to find, all of you, an authentic voice that somehow balances between that thing which is music by the composer and that thing which is your experience, which couldn't be more distant, both the entire geography in the world, than from Fauré himself. And it's always a balance. And the further we get from a composer, the bigger that challenge is, and so on. The most important thing all of you have to remember is that if an audience sees that you are being authentic, they don't mind if it's slightly different from a traditional interpretation, or hopefully they don't mind. But if you're not being authentic, that is when the problem comes. So it's always that kind of key balance. Okay, that probably it gives you something to think about at least. I don't think we ever have an answer to that question. Honestly, it just changes every generation, I guess, or every.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, really lovely to meet you. Bravo, Himanshu. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Himanshu, and thank you, Karl. I like that illustration of was that your phone ringing, Himanshu, to illustrate that we are indeed in the 21st century and we are not still with Boré. It was nicely done. Thank you so much. Wonderful to hear you sing. We're going to move on now to our next singer, who is soprano Payal John, and we are going to see her video now and find out a little bit more about her.
Hi everyone, my name is Payal John and I am from Pune. I would like to share a little bit about my music journey. I started singing Hindustani classical at the age of 9 and year 2002 I started learning Western classical vocal. I have taken master classes from various conductors and coaches who visited India. I have completed associate diploma from the Trinity College, London. I have been teaching vocals for the past 17 years and I have conducted choirs in my own church and various schools. In the year 2018, I got the scholarship to study in Italy for 4 months. At present, I am associated with the Bangalore School of Music as a senior vocal coach, where I teach all kinds of genre. I would like to thank Trinity Laban for giving me this opportunity, and I am excited to be a part of this festival. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Payal, over to you. Welcome.
I will be singing Cecilia by Strauss.
Wenn du es wüsstest, wo's träumen heißt, von brennenden Küssen, von Wandenruhe, mit der Geliebte, Auge und Kusset und Plaudern. Wenn du es wüsstest, du neigtest dein Herz. Wenn du es wüsstest, was Bangen heißt, in einsamen Nächten und Schauen vom Sturm, dann niemand tröstet milden Mundes die kampfmüde Seelen. Wenn du es wüsstest, so nimm mit zu mir. Wenn du es wüsstest, was Leid von der Gottheit geschaffene Worte zum Schweben empor, Licht getragen zur seligen Wenn du es wüsstest, wenn du es wüsstest, du wolltest mit mir.
Great, thank you, bravo, bravo. What an extraordinary piece of music, isn't it? It really, really is amazing. What particularly attracts you to it? Why this song?
Well, I love Strauss. I love his compositions and the way he expresses through music, it moves my heart.
Okay.
That's the, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely, and which is it's all we ever want from a song or from any music, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah. So, okay, what are you telling us? What do you want us to go home with at the end of this song?
Okay. So, Cecilia is the name of Heinrich Hart, and it's his wife. And Strauss set the poem on the eve of his wedding. So it talks about that if you knew what is to dream of burning kisses, if you knew what it's like to worry on, on lonely nights when there's storm going on in the life and there's no one to talk to, and you need a gentle voice for that. But there is, the poet is talking about that, and he's talking about the God's creative world to reach out to heights, like, in love, let's unite and love each other unconditionally. That's what the poem is all
Great. But so at the end of every phrase, could you do, if you knew how much this is and if you knew how much that is, what does he always say?
It's kind of it's kind of you are telling the person and reminding the person, if you knew, and if you knew. This is all about.
Yeah, and it seems to me because of that, and not least in the orchestration, particularly when you have the full orchestra with you, there's that always sense of, how secure or how strong does the person who is singing feel about that? Is it? And it's a question for you really. Is it about just telling someone, oh, you should know how amazing how amazing I think you are, or is it, if only you knew quite how I felt?
How I feel for you, right?
Yeah, what do you think? It doesn't, it's your choice.
Of course. It's like you are asking the other person, what do you think about me? I mean, I'm telling you my feelings. What about you,
Okay, so would you say there's some sense of vulnerability there as well?
Yes, there is.
Okay, good. Well, we'll work on that process. Okay, so let's of course it's going to be weird without particularly it's going to be weird without a pianist, but let's start with this opening thing. What, I don't know, in an ideal world, would you sing it this fast?
Sorry?
Do you like the tempo?
Yes, I love the tempo.
Okay, so if you like the tempo, at the moment it feels to me that the tempo is pushing you. You need to be slightly more on top of the tempo.
Exactly.
I know it's really hard with as I say, a non-present.
No, but if I am working with the pianist, then I will slow down a little bit.
Okay,
maybe
so
well,
let's take
so
the ideal tempo
so
now.
that my expressions will come more.
Yeah.
So would you like me to sing without the accompaniment?
Yes, for the moment we will take
Okay.
extracts without the accompaniment, just so we
Fine.
can. So let me just give you so that's your opening.
Okay.
And just give me the first phrase up to what Anja would be fine or something. Yeah. Olga, I can't see. Yeah?
Ja. Wenn du es wüsstest, was Träumen heißt, von brennenden Küssen, von Wundern und Ruhen, mit der Geliebten, Auge in Auge und kosend und plaudernd.
Fine. Well, yeah, great. Okay. So there are 2 or 3 things that I want you to think about. When you hit those minims, the C sharp and the 2 E's, and then you're quite reticent in your sound. You're sort of quite far back. You're not allowing the sound. Now, do you mean to do that?
Sorry?
When you have the C sharp and the 2
Yeah.
E's, your sound is very the beginning of the second page. Ruhen and Libertes, Geliebtes. Geliebten, sorry, I can't read.
The second page.
Second page. First
Auge in
line.
Auge und kosend und plaudernd.
Oh no, I've got. Oh, sorry, my score is probably different from yours then.
Oh.
I'm talking about, in fact, let me give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars, 8 and 9.
Bars 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
Umwandern und ruhen?
Yep.
Ruhen, right?
So on ruhen, you're giving us a very the sound is
Back
very
sound.
far back. Yeah,
Okay.
and it just seems to me that there's no reason not to project both there and in the next bar.
Maybe I'm looking for a warmer sound.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can. There's no. I mean, I can understand you would want a warmer sound on peace, but it seems that you're being rather backwards and reticent about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you
Okay, I'll do that.
By all means, find the warmer sound. I think your instincts are very right on that. But it almost seems like you kind of cut out there, and we're going, well, why are you not giving that to us? And remember, this is Strauss, and you've got a 70-piece orchestra behind you. You know,
exactly.
No problem about this. Okay, so let's.
Wenn du es wüsstest, was Träumen heißt, von brennenden Küssen, von Wunden und Ruhen, mit der geliebten Auge und kosend und plaudernd.
Great. Okay. Yeah, that was much better. That was much more present. The second thing I would ask you is, have you thought about your use of vibrato?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your vibrato plan for those long notes on this phrase? Particularly those two, but also the last, the plaudern.
Plaudern. It has to spin. It has to
What do you
spin. Spin means you have to be constant with the vibrato.
Right.
Plaudern.
So at the moment, I'm not getting that sense of connected vibrato. What I'm getting is hit the note and then think about the vibrato, and that's exactly what. So So let's just do that whole phrase again.
You want me to do it again?
Yeah, let's get the whole phrase again once more. And I'll give you one other thought. Please note that in your third bar, Traumenheist, remember that you have a semiquaver. Traumenheist.
Where?
Träumenheist, the third bar that you're singing.
Okay. Träumenheist. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a semiquaver.
It's a semiquaver.
It seems to me he puts the semiquaver there to be different from the triplets around it, okay?
Right.
And we need to hear that something that's much more zippy, much more dynamic.
Okay.
Whereas the rest of the triplets are a bit more warm, I think. Okay?
Exactly.
Fine. So now think about you connecting your vibrato through, please.
Wenn du es wüsstest, was Träumen heißt, von brennenden Küssen, von Wunden und Ruhen, mit der geliebten Auge und kosend und plaudernd.
Good. Watch out for the D natural.
Which one?
You're a bit under on the D natural, or you were that a couple of times. It's, I mean, obviously.
That one.
Yeah. Yeah, the augmented fourth is obviously not that pleasant.
It's a natural D, right?
Yeah, exactly. Be careful that it's not a bit low. Yeah. Okay. Now, this next two bars is quite interesting because what we have is and it almost sounds, the first bar sounds like, and you know, that's going to be it. Could you but know love?
Yeah.
Then we get this extra bit. Your heart sort of would be mine, wouldn't it? Yes.
Yes. Your heart would be, yes.
Yeah. Now, which of those two sentiments is stronger? Do you want da la da da to be stronger, or da 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 da?
Du neidest dein Herz.
I agree with you entirely. I agree with you entirely. Now, show me.
Okay. Wenn du es wüsstest, du neidest dein Herz.
I think that worked quite well. I get a sense that you're slightly rushing that triplet at the beginning. Da, 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 da.
Maybe the music is ringing in my ears because of this tempo.
Okay, yes, maybe. Just try
No,
one more
it
time.
is actually because you get used to the tempo, right? So
Yeah.
it's ringing in my ears right now. So.
Well, remember, you're in control. I know you're not when you've got a recording, but ultimately, hopefully, you are in control. So let's present your presence, as it were.
Okay. So shall I do it one more time?
Yeah, just do that one again. Okay. And again, watch out. That D sharp wasn't clear. So
wasn't clear?
D sharp. Yeah, just be careful. Okay, good. So why don't we? Yes, let's just carry on. So
yeah.
What I would like to hear is a better diminuendo on Was Bangen heißt.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very important because the orchestra comes down to piano and has these little sort of chromatic rumblings, and you're just supposed to be just soaring above that, I think. And I think you were a bit strong last time. Do you want to go from Wenn du es wusstest?
Exactly.
Which
Wenn du es wüsstest, was Bangen heißt, in einsamen Nächten umschauet vom Sturm, dann niemand tröstet milden Mundes die kampfmüde Seele.
Okay, so what I get from that section is you rather like the storm. You're very passionate about the storm, and you're not afraid of the storm. And it seems to me that particularly it says about Was Bangen heißt a sort of fearfulness and dread.
So dread and fear, right?
And I even from your body language, I get the sense that storm, fear, dread. And I think this is a moment where we want that kind of visceral tension. I don't mean tension in the voice, but in the music that gives us that sense of some fear. And I think you're being very much more, impassioned about it. And particularly when we get the diminuendo, and we then get in einsam Nachten.
Nächten.
Meaning what?
It's lonely nights, the long nights.
Yeah. Well, you seemed very happy about the long nights. Okay. So can we take that again and really get a sense of diminuendo, MP, lonely nights, frightening storms, still at MP. The thing to remember here, and this is difficult for pianists when they first play with orchestras. It's difficult for singers. It's difficult for everybody. Remember that you are at this point one of the components. You can't do everything in the music. You have to do your bit. And I think what you're doing is you're trying to produce the storminess of the orchestra at the same time as going, no, but I'm so scared. And it's the same thing when pianists first play concertos, they're trying to be the orchestra as well as play their part, and it just doesn't work. So remember, someone else will deal with the storm, okay? Let me just give you some notes. So this is beg your pardon.
Wenn du es wüsstest, was Bangen heißt, in einsamen Nächten umschauet vom Sturm, dann niemand trotzet milden Mundes die kampfmüde Seele.
Okay, not bad. So that gave us much better, more idiomatic character, I think. That
Actually,
works.
I do that kind of thing, but because of this I mean, I know that because it's a sad moment here, and I really want to sing soft in this, because then the colors comes and there is a crescendo, because there is a tension. Dani mantras at Milden Mundas, die Kampfmüde. There's a tension in this section. So I have to like literally go through that moment.
Yeah, yeah. Now, can I just ask you, in addition, I need to hear really clearly the pitches in that last phrase.
Okay, okay.
Just do them just
Dani,
a little slowly,
can I just
so we
do
can
it
hear them all.
slower? Dani, can I start from Da?
Oh, sorry, from Dani. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Da. Sorry. Dani mantrust et milden Mundes, die Kampfmüde Seele.
Good, that was much better. It's the B natural and the B flat. So first you have the B flat, then you have the B natural, and particularly that's basically suddenly after all this we get a G major triad.
Exactly. Right.
So just watch out for that. Again, you know, one needs to practice getting the voice around that so it really hits the triads very, very well, so we get the sense of that. Okay, so now the last phrase of this section, please. And now, of course, we've got the top G, and really allow it to be opened up. It is we've got a crescendo to forte. Okay, I obviously I know you're in a room rather than an opera house, but still allow that to come forward.
Yeah.
So okay.
So Mir, I'm taking back slightly because it's a diminuendo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Can I take the note, please?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yes.
When du es wüsstest, du kämst zu mir.
Great. That last time you were again a bit reticent about it, but that's clearly fine. Now, mostly, those were the key issues, basically all the way through. It's making sure that you don't suddenly become reticent about your strong high notes.
Right.
A couple of moments where you've got really awkward lines, just really make sure you're hitting the center of the note, because otherwise it can drift much harder. And I have to say, it's much harder with the recording than if you've got a live instrument, because you're kind of listening through speakers and so on. It's for all of you. That's much harder. So I totally get that. We've got a little bit of time. Did you want to do something of your other song?
No, I'm fine now. I mean, I have kept Marendi. I have kept Bellini, Marendi.
Yes. Did you want to do some Bellini?
Yeah. That's
let's do some Bellini, because it's
this
also
is fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, those are the key things that you need to think about going through. But it would be nice.
Sure. Thank you so much.
No, not at all.
Yes, you have about 5 minutes left, so let's hear a bit of Bellini.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. Thanks. Let me just bring up my. Where's it got to? Here we go.
Sorry.
Great, thank you. It's nice to have a little Bellini. I don't think we have any bel canto apart from of this during this session anyway. So thank you very much. I will just warn you that after the first two lines, you came in one beat early and you carried on.
I know.
Oh, why didn't you adjust? Why didn't you just take a moment and then kind of, okay, I'll carry on. You went on bloody mind.
Time is also
out. Don't do that, okay? Okay, fine. I think the only thing, obviously bel canto is the most extraordinary and indeed involved singing art maybe ever. What I would ask you is, how have you made your decisions for your portamenti?
Portamento?
The portamenti, where you do the how have you decided where?
Okay. Maybe. A lot of people don't like portamentos.
Well, they just don't know anything about bel canto. Bel canto, portamento was absolutely, and we know this from all sorts of people, was absolutely intrinsic to the act of bel canto.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
So, where I'm thinking, okay.
But what I would say is, and I always, very easy to overdo portamento, and it's very easy to underdo it, and it needs a thoughtfulness. These great singers from, you know, Adelina De Patti and all these people, we have the final recordings of them, and you can hear, even though it's very bad recording, you can hear that they've thought, where does the portamento go? Why? Where? So, I mean, you know, in your first phrase, where have you put it and why?
In the first phrase, Ma rende pur contento. So the contento is Ma rende pur contento. This place. The contento.
Okay. Why?
Well, because it's saying that but to make it happy. Ma, but. Right? Rendi pur contento. Della mia bella il cuore, because there is a triplet as well.
Yep.
So I have to be very, very clear on the triplets, you know.
Yep.
And the core of my beautiful, and I forgive you, perdona. I'll forgive you, perdona, amore, my love, I will forgive you. You know?
Yeah, but you're telling me the words, but which words then require portamento or which don't? What's your thinking? That's what I'm asking for. I can see what the words are.
Maybe perdona, which is G flat.
Yes, I've got. So tell me about that.
So portamento. Why would here you want me to give the portamento?
I'm just asking you what you think.
No, I will not give here portamento. At the end, there is a portamento.
Okay, so where do you put the portamento?
Portamento is at the end when you are coming from the crescendo and then coming to di quel ch'io vivo.
Okay, so
at the end.
Yes, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, I think the composer is saying again, they're saying that, you know, the affirmation here, the affirmation, that yes, you will live in me and I will live in you.
Yes, but why does that need a portamento? Other than differently from any other phrase. The reason I bring it up, sadly we're going to have to end, but the only thing I would say to you is, when I heard you, I could not decide what you were using your portamento to do.
Mm-hmm. To make it beautiful.
Yes,
make it beautiful.
Yes, but okay. So then I would say, where does an added portamento make something beautiful, and where does it not? And I think this is always a difficulty.
I will not use it in the beginning, but rather than few places, maybe one or two, not full, because the line then you cut.
there's a legato line in the beginning, and
Yeah, but
that is
surely
very, very important in this music because bel canto is legato. And maybe here and there it's like where the triplets are, maybe I will be more clear in that. But portamento, yes, at the end, yes.
Okay, fine. I mean, I will point out that, of course, in some ways, the portamento of bel canto was introduced in order to really help
Yes.
that line.
The
of
connection
course.
between.
I just it's really lovely to hear some bel canto, and I just thought I would ask you about that. But and of course, don't forget you are allowed to do a little more ornamentation if you want.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
you were quite purist. That's fine. We often sing purist, but I very much get a sense, particularly lately in the last 5 years, that people are being a bit more relaxed about taking, taking some of those things we heard from the early recordings and adding them. I realize I will have to stop now, otherwise I shall get into trouble.
Thank you so much.
Payal, thank you very much.
Thank you
All
so
the best
much.
for the week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Payal, and thank you, Karl. It just, my favorite, Strauss and Bellini. What more could we want on a Thursday afternoon? So we're going to move on to our final singer now, who is Lili Mandata. I think he's joining us from Chennai. He's a baritone. Lidiman has been having a couple of power cut issues today, but he says it's all right now. So hopefully it's all going to go ahead. So we are going to introduce Lidiman with his video now.
Hi, my name is Lili Mandata and I am a singer from India. Though music has been a large part of my life since I was a child, I did start off my formal training quite late in high school. I've trained in Hindustani classical vocals since the last 10 years and I did my degree in performing arts from Christ University in Bangalore. I specialize there in drama and Carnatic music. It is this love for drama and dramatics and putting together music and expression which led me towards exploring Western classical music, vocal music to be specific, and that's why I've been studying at the KM Conservatory since the last 2 years under the guidance of Dr. Keisha Cook and Miss Liliana Shaiki in Western classical vocal.
And you're live.
All right, Ridiman. Well, thank you for being the last singer today. I know that sometimes be a bit of a nerve-wracking position. Thank you for waiting, and we're really excited to hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, and yeah, I was really breaking up with nerves, but yeah.
Brilliant. Hi, Ridiman. Nice to see you. What would you like to mostly work on? We might have time for two, but what do you want to focus on?
So I'd like to first focus on the Russian piece by Glinka.
Of course. Brilliant. Let me just bring up my score, which is here. Are you singing in Russian or English?
Yes, I'm singing in Russian.
Brilliant.
Do I start?
Please.
Thank you.
Я помню чудное мгновение, передо мной явилась ты, как мимолетное видение, как гений чистой красоты, как гений чистой красоты. Втомление грусти безнадежной, в тревоге
drogach szumnej sujeti, zvučał nedoga golos nežný, i snili smilie čerti, i snili smilie čerti. Šli godi burpari metešni, raseju prešnije mečti, ja zabir tvoj golos nežný, tvoj nebesnije čerti, tvoj nebesnije čerti. Vkuši vo mrake zatačenja, čenuli stihotni maji, bez božestva, bez vdохновения, без слез, без жизни, без любви, без слез, без жизни, без любви. Душе настало пробуждение, и вот опять чай власти, как мимолетное видение, как гений чистой красоты, как гений чистой красоты. И сердце бьется в упоении, и для небо воскресли вновь, и божество, и вдохновение, и жизнь, и слезы, и любовь, и божество, и вдохновение, и жизнь, и слезы, и любовь.
Thank you, bravo, bravo. Do you speak Russian?
No, I don't. I do not speak.
Oh, okay, fine. I studied in Russia a long time ago. I don't speak Russian at all. Certainly not anymore. But it certainly, really, to my ear, sounded pretty good pronunciation. So bravo. Okay, you're clearly very engaged with this song, and particularly for those of us everybody who's listening in who doesn't have a score. What's it about?
So the piece is very reminiscent. It's basically a poem that was penned down by Alexander Pushkin, who was like one of the most celebrated writers of his time in Russia. And it was, I think I've read about the poem that it was based on Anna Kern, who was somebody Pushkin was really smitten by, and he dedicated the poem to her. And Glinka took the same poem and set it to a song because he fell in love with Anna's daughter, Ekaterina. And I think I think Glinka must have drawn parallels and then dedicated this song to Ekaterina, which was actually dedicated to his mother by her lover. So the mood of the song again is very reminiscent. So it's about how love that may not be fulfilled does hold the power to sort of pull you through any sort of difficult times, though you may not have the satisfaction of being one with the person you're in love with. The mere thought and the memory and the power that love gives you, that itself is enough to sort of pull you through any sort of hardship or anything that may be pulling you down. And it doesn't have to happen that love is only the power of love is only there for that specific time. It may span an age, it may span across life, and you may suddenly feel that love rekindling, or you may find yourself holding on to that same feeling much later in life as well. So it's just about that whole, I mean, that's my understanding of it.
That's a great explanation. Absolutely. And the other thing, so on one side we've got this deeply impassioned music, but on the other side we've got Glinka, who's writing in 1840 or something, this piece, and writing a fairly sort of essentially a simple line. I mean, this is not Wagner and Strauss that we've heard already, and so it seems to me there's always this balance between trying to project human feeling, but also bearing in mind that actually this is a really quite early romantic piece rather than something much later. And all I would say, and I'm not going to say what you do is better or worse or good or bad. What I'm going to ask you is to think about, and then you can throw it out. Okay, I just ask you to think about it. Whether, for instance, at the beginning, spianato e dolce, and I'm wondering if you're coming at this slightly too impassioned. Of course, there's passion here. Don't misunderstand me. It would be stupid to suggest otherwise. But I just wonder if you're I always get the sense that this piece has the impassioned qualities are slightly more implicit, and you're very explicit about them. That doesn't make you wrong or me right. You understand this? What I suggest, let's have a try at making it slightly more. I want to use the word innig. Do you know the German word innig? Meaning very intimate, very kind of in love and impassioned, but in a sort of inward rather than external way. I think the best description I've ever heard of innig is when Alfred Brendel suggested that innig is where a man tells a woman he loves her and actually means it. And there's some quality about that we're looking for, I think. So let's just actually, because it's such a weird piece without the piano. Do you mind if we just take the opening again? We'll take the opening section with and we'll just talk, just sing the first. I guess I've probably got the same part as you. Up to the end of the first paragraph, as it were. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Thank you. But just more intimate.
Ja pomnю чудное мгновенье, передо мной явилась ты, как мимолетное видение, как гений чистой красоты, как гений чистой красоты.
Brilliant, thank you. What did you now? This is up to you. Remember, it's you who's singing, not me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think this was a lot more, like you said, it did feel more intimate. I did feel like I was trying to, sit down with someone and explain something rather than just like, I love you, instead of that. So I get what you meant by that. Yeah.
Okay, think about it. For me, that's the other thing I would say is, what's the tempo marking?
There isn't one actually. It says Allegro moderato. But,
yes, that's right. I thought it's definitely Allegro. Well, Allegro moderato. My personal view, and I realise you're playing to a voice, recorded piano, is that it's a bit slow. You're playing sort of, which is sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, ba da da, and all I would say is there's no such thing as absolute speed or anything. I wonder if now that you're taking it slightly less, if it moves a bit more, then that kind of balances things. Obviously, you can't. We can try it without the piano now and just experiment with that, because I think there were a couple of moments at this speed you kind of felt a little high and dry, because how long am I going to hold this note without having that quality? What do you think?
The issue was that the language was so alien to me. I needed like a little. The higher tempo would just I would just fumble because I was getting confused with the words, and the vowels are sort of merged. So that's why I thought, let me start out with like a slower tempo so that I can get more comfortable
You
with
seem
the piece.
very comfortable with it at the moment, so I think you could probably allow yourself to. In fact, do you want to, without the piano? Do you want to just give me the same phrase again? But at your well, actually, let's experiment. Da dum ba da 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 da, something like that. You find your tempo, something like that.
All right. So something a little faster than what I've been saying.
Yeah. Just experiment. We'll see what happens.
Я помню чудное мгновение, передо мной явилась ты, как мимолетное видение, как гений чистой красоты, как гений чистой красоты.
What do you think?
Yeah.
That seems to work much better. Yeah.
It goes better.
Yeah. I think just experiment firstly with that sense of, okay, I'm going to be more intimate, but just move it on a bit. I tell you the particular one, when you go, I think you can allow that to die. You're a bit sort of steady about that.
Yeah.
Enjoy that a bit more. Can you just go from there?
I'm so sorry. I think there's someone at the door. I'm so sorry. I'll just
go on, sort it out. I bet Fischer Dieskau didn't have these problems when people turned up at his door in the middle of his rehearsals, but no problem.
I'm so sorry.
No problem. Don't worry. Okay, so again, just give me that phrase, and don't be too. What I would say is, late romantic music tends to move like a big ship. It moves slowly and you turn slowly and so on. Earlier romantic music, things like Schubert, Schumann particularly, they can go forward and back much more easily. The rubato is more flexible. And I think you don't want to get too stuck. And now that we're moving it faster, move forward, move back. So just go from there. Enjoy yourself, okay? Go on.
Как мимолетное видение.
Good. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got more freedom than you think. Of course, there are lots of differences between Schumann and Glinka, but it is as well to remember that we do sometimes forget. We think, Russian music is the second half of the 19th century, and of course, Glinka, father of Russian music, is working much earlier and going to Europe. He's hanging out in Europe in the late 1830s, I think. I can't remember the exact dates, but anyway. Okay, good. That sounded great. Okay, so
I think if I were to perform this with a live accompanist, I think that I usually do be a little more flexible with the time and try to change around, but only because this is a backing track and I'm so conscious that if I slip, it just like goes on. I just automatically get while singing. So
sadly, there's no really good solution to that, is there? It's the problem is when you do have this backing track, it owns you. You don't own it. It owns you, which is a real pain. Okay, that was really great. Now, let's carry on from where we stopped onwards, and remembering that we're moving towards the section which is forte and risoluto, which is later. So this next section, it seems, takes us from this kind of very flexible opening section where we're sort of, I mean the English translation is a wonderful moment, isn't it? I'm remembering a wonderful moment, or recalling a wonderful moment, and we're going towards this middle section, which is much stronger. Take us in this next 12 bars or something towards that moment, and then really hit me with that. Surprise me indeed, because I think I am surprised with that key change, and suddenly, it's resolute. It's a different rhythm. We've got these snappy semiquavers, dotted rhythms, etc. Okay, so sorry, let me give you a note. I guess we're going from here. So this is okay.
Втомлення, грусти безнадежной, trevogach szumnoj sujeti, zvučal nedoga golos nežný, i snili smilie čerti, i snili smilie čerti.
I'm going to stop you there. I was going to tell you to go on, but I'm just going to stop you. Forgive me. Great. Now, I am going to ask you. There's no rules about this, particularly in the work of Glinka. I'm going to ask you about your portamento now. Obviously, having asked Payal, you do them very, very subtly. You did 3 of them in that section, and it doesn't bother me at all. Tell me about them, though.
Okay. So one portamento that I consciously am aware of is the I'm sorry, I've lost the key. Could you just give me the
what note do you want?
Isni. Okay, Frostomlenia Grusti. So that's the only one that I'm aware of. The other 2, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it unconsciously.
Fine. I suspect, to be fair, I think the other 2, and of course you're singing without a now you're singing without a pen. I think the other 2 may have been just to adjust your pitch, so I'm going to forget those. And that's fine. I'll leave that there. I think probably. I mean, I don't think maybe you wouldn't have done it with a piano because you're trying to get the pitch up. That the portamento you just did. Do you know about the different kinds of portamento?
No, I'm not aware. I'm aware of portamento.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Essentially, there are 3 kinds of portamento. There's one where you go from let's say we're going from G to E. Okay, and you just do. You go right through. The second one is where you go halfway and then jump. And the third one is where you jump. You jump first and then swoop up. So essentially, those are 3 types. Now, what the one you did was you did the jump first and then the gliss. And I'm just wondering if that worked, and particularly I hadn't quite worked out if you decided to do it that way. What do you think is going to work best for you in that place?
I think it's just
I think it is.
I
absolutely agree with you.
Jump by mistake. I didn't do the jump.
Yeah, and what you were doing was doing. Yeah. So just give me that one more time and just go all the way through, and then we'll get to the resolute.
So do I go from just that line or from
Yeah, fine. Going on.
Shli godi bur pariv meteshni, raseju preshni emechti, Yazabil tuai golos neshni.
Good. Okay. So what I'd like to hear here is much more contrast. This is the moment where you become Dmitry Votovsky. Do you know? You've heard Dmitry. Okay, fine. You know that sound, that voice. This is the moment. Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely resolute. I'd love to hear more of the semiquaver, or at least more of the semiquaver rhythm. I think sometimes you're a bit sort of you make it a bit nice. Don't make it nice. I want it in my face. That semiquaver rhythm. Okay. And then that dolcissimo, absolutely. Then do it exactly the same, but it'll sound like it floats because you've just had this very forte and then down to piano. Okay. From there, it's what's it?
Shli godi bur pariv meteshni, raseju preshni emechti, Yazabil tuai golos neshni, tuai nepesni echerti.
Wonderful. Yeah, that, and do you see what I mean? That feels much more like you're very present. And then, now the only thing I would say is that dolcissimo. We need a more focused quality of sound there. As I told you guys, I am not the singer, so I'm not the person to tell you how to do that. But can we create something that is slightly more focused, slightly less breathy, etc.? Is that possible? Have a go.
Slightly, I didn't get you. Could you?
More focused.
More focused.
Yours was very open, and I think it needs to be tighter, as it were, but not physically tighter, you understand?
Yeah. Could I get the note?
C.
Okay.
Шли годи бур парив метешни, рассею прежние мечты, и я
Sorry.
All right, don't worry.
Твой голос нежный, твои
You can go a bit softer. Same, exactly the same, but just a bit softer. Just go from the piano, the dolcissimo.
Я забыл твой голос нежный, твои небесные черты.
Good. Your pianist will hate you for that, but just tell him or her that's the way it's going, and bring it absolutely down. Tell them to use the una chord if they need to. But yeah, that will give a wonderful visceral contrast to that. Good. Now carry on going from there. Just
Your 5-minute warning.
Thank you, Nina.
Я забыл твой голос нежный, твои небесные черты, твои небесные черты.
And personally, so assuming we've done the faster speed, I would absolutely back you just to take. I know it's not written in the score. I would absolutely allow, say, why don't you just take a moment, retard there, just a thought, not too much, but okay, fine. Okay, and so let's continue now. So this is pianato assai. Okay?
Yeah. Вколуши во мраке заточения, чену листи обнимай. Без божества, без вдохновения, без слез, без жизни, без любви.
Great. Well done. The only thing I would add is as you move up, you're going G, A, B flat, C, D, up to the E flat. And it's only the last E flat D that has the hairpin on it.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to open up. Don't feel you have to be too strict about the dynamics. This rising phrase, bum, ba, na, 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 we're taking us somewhere. One more time from there, please.
Вколуши во мраке заточения, чену листи обнимай. Без божества, без вдохновения, без слез, без жизни, без любви. Без слез, без жизни, без любви.
Okay, now tell me one thing here. It's a lovely mark. He says, poco a poco, comportamento. Why do you think he wants the portamento there? What's the mood?
The exact line there is, deprived of divinity. So bez sloz, bez жизни, bez любви. So I'm deprived of divinity, of inspiration, of tears even, of life and love itself. So the first time it's more of I'm deprived of la 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 la, and the second time it's like, oh, he's just in despair. Now he's just crying it out. Like, I'm deprived. So I think
absolutely, brilliant. So the portamento is very much there to give you a sob, to give you that vocal sob. I would say that you possibly didn't do it enough.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, on this occasion you were too narrow. But all the things you just said to us, can you now do them?
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Do you want the D? Oh, sorry, I've gone. Oh, yeah, no, go from there.
Без божества, без вдохновения, без слез, без жизни, без любви. Без слез, без жизни, без любви. Душе настало пробуждение, и вот опять явилась, как мимолетное видение, как гений чистой красоты, как гений чистой красоты.
Great, great, great. That worked very well. And you absolutely gave us the there's the marking, yes, compassione at this point. But remember, this bit of compassione is definitely piano. You did it. But now I think the second part, where the piano has also got many more notes than it's ever had. So Glinka is telling you this next section, you can really lift it, I think. So let's just go from the second compassione, compassione rather. And that G sharp, enjoy that, okay?
И сердце бьется в упоенье, и для неба воскресли вновь, и божество, и вдохновение, и жизни слезы любовь, и божество, и вдохновение.
Good. And as I say, all this is fine. You know, he gives us those 4 notes with accents.
Yeah.
I don't think you did quite enough. Don't go too far, obviously, but I think those 4 notes with accents are really, whew, you know, why would he do that? Okay, so just go back, I don't know, to here.
I think the accents are because it's the same words that were there when he was like crying out, the same divinity, inspiration, love and life. And now he's like, the very things I was missing, I'm getting it. Like I feel it now. Like, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's really hear that I think each one needs a kind of power behind it, a strength of diaphragm, etc. that really projects that, okay? Slightly separate from the stuff around it. That's, I think, is you're emphasizing. Not just loud, but emphatic.
Yeah.
Do you know, yeah.
И божество, и вдохновение, и жизни слезы любовь, и божество, и вдохновение, и жизнь, и слезы, и любовь.
Great, well done. That was how lovely to hear that, and well done, bravo. Any questions quickly? Obviously, I'm slightly behind time, but go on.
No, I think I have a lot of food for thought. Like I need to process it. There's a lot of things.
I was going to say, I really like the fact that you picked up the speed towards the end. I think it worked really well for me anyway. Yeah. Have a think about it. As I say to you and to everybody, it's you who's singing it, not me. You have to make me believe that moment's right. So that's the really important thing. But thank you so much. Nice to see you. Look forward to hearing you in the competition.
This is really good. This was really insightful. I'm so happy.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a lovely song to end on. Thank you, Ridiman. Really fantastic to hear you. And thank you, Karl. And thank you to all of our participants from today. Asta Mahapatra, Himanshu Bharat, Payal John, and we just heard Lili Mandata. And as Karl was saying, and participants have been talking about, of course, they're all singing with backing tracks, and that makes it so much harder. So I want to say an extra congratulations to them. And of course, we've all been missing this wonderful relationship that usually singers have with pianists. And that's why, Karl, particularly, it's been so fantastic to hear your insights today. And thank you to all our singers for being open-minded and working with Karl and taking everything on board so well. Karl, would you like to say a few words before we say goodbye?
Well, firstly, thanks very much. In these strange times, the fact that we've still managed to do this, and across thousands of miles, and with pianists who aren't even there, that's extraordinary. So thank you so much for joining and being such great masterclass candidates. The thing I always remember from my days as a student is, when you're in masterclass, forget what you think and forget what you know. Just walk around in someone else's shoes for a while, take it all on board, and then, as I was just saying, tomorrow or even this evening or whenever it is, have a think about what I said. Decide what is yours and what is not yours, and throw out anything that isn't yours. I'm not you. I don't know how it feels to be you. I just have my experience, and that's what I bring to the table, such as it is. So please understand that. Use a masterclass as a useful, hopefully a useful tool. It is not some kind of great statement from above. Throw out, enjoy, use, think about it, and then make sure that whatever you do, whenever you perform, it is entirely you who is performing, rather than layers of masterclasses and layers of teachers. But what a wonderful thing to be able to do, and I really look forward to actually doing this in person next time round. And huge thanks to everybody, both for being here, for Nina and Adam for organising all this, and everybody behind the scenes. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to next Saturday when I get to hear you again.
Thank you so much, Karl. Well, we're so grateful to have you and your experience here, and everybody has just blossomed today. So it's wonderful to see. Thank you so much. I'll just remind everybody of the next events that we have coming up in the festival. So on Tuesday next week, we have our final vocal masterclass with Patricia Rosario. She'll be working with our remaining 3 singers. On Thursday next week, we have our composition workshop with Professor Christopher Kane from Trinity Laban and Dr. Jimmy Bunch from KM Music Conservatory. And they'll be working with 4 composers on new art songs that they've written for the festival. So that's really exciting. And then on Saturday the 17th, we are going to have our finale, when you'll be able to hear all of our singers singing their full programs before we have our prize giving. And it will be interesting to see actually how the singers perhaps change their interpretation after the work in the masterclasses this week and next week. So again, thank you so much today to Karl Lutchmayer. Thank you to all of our participants for singing, and thank you to you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you next week for the remainder of the festival. Goodbye.